The actual activity that needed to take place to be prepared for the tsunami we were right on. And now what we've gotten the opportunity, because it turned out fairly benign, to then follow up on some of what I call the logistics of what to do when you get to the shelters and where they are and so on. We need a little bit more activity on that end, but it's nothing that can't be handled, and it's nothing that is so difficult that it can't be followed up on in relatively short order. Just getting the shelters open on time, for example. You got to get the message out. If you're opening up a school, somebody's got to be there to make sure it's open. Right. And that the bathrooms are open, and there's towel papers and so on, that kind of thing. It's logistics. Okay. And
but I understand
it's very encouraging in that regard.
That's good. I understand you toured some of the places that were damaged. You were at the King
Kamehameha. They're taking. That's where I met the visitors from British Columbia, for example. Okay. And they couldn't have been more enthusiastic. Same with the people from Wisconsin. They came up. I guess they came up to the Civic Center, right? At least some people did. They said Civic Center. Now maybe it was to them. Right. But they said the courtesy extended to them, and the aloha was just formidable. They just really everybody couldn't have been nicer to them and more helpful. So I feel good about all that.
And after seeing the damage there,
especially folks from Wisconsin, because they were saying, "Look, in Wisconsin, it's poisonous back there. Here, everybody, the government and the people seem to get along real well."
That's good to hear. Did seeing the damage down? I know you went to Kalekakua Bay and you saw some of the homes. Did you see the homes that were?
No, well, that's pretty much sunk now. That's the debris that has been able to be removed capable of removal. Right. It pretty much has been. The salvage, it's not really salvage, but the extraction is going to take a little bit longer. Among other reasons, as Mr. Isla said, we've got to give the insurance companies a couple of days to figure out exactly where the responsibility is and what actually needs to be done. Right. But and then again, everything seems to have operated in a very fortunate way. Down there at Manini Beach, the overwhelming majority of places are okay. There may be some wave action that took place, that kind of thing. But aside from the houses at the end of the spit there, everything seems fine. Besides, there's volunteers all over the place down there, and the cleanup and everything is underway, just like it was at the hotel down here.
Have you gotten a better grasp of how much this is all going to cost after seeing it firsthand and talking to Director Isla?
Repairs, luckily it looks like we won't have to do heavy structural repairs on the piers. We may have to do that on Oahu. I don't know yet. That's still being assessed. But it's a good example to me of not the argument I've been making, but the observation I made that what we have to do is restore government services. The cutting simply isn't an option anymore. William Isla had people available in DLNR to do things like diving. They could make structural engineering assessments, and they work for us. I can't cut those folks. That's the kind of thing that we're trying to get through. That we have basic government functions, civil defense folks. I mean, everybody. I asked General Wong yesterday at a departmental meeting that I called in the aftermath of the tsunami. Is there anybody you can think of we didn't need or wasn't doing their job Thursday night on into the weekend and so on? Of course, the answer was no. Everybody was on the ball and doing the work. I can't cut those folks. So what I'm driving at is as we come to the budgetary implications, including construction work and post-tsunami, we have to keep in mind that essential services have to be delivered. If that cruise ship, for example, is going to be able to come to Kona next week to keep the businesses going, they've got to go to a pier that's safe. So we had to make that assessment, and if repairs needed to be made, we had to move. So that's why the county workers were out repairing the seawall and the walkway on Ali'i Drive, so that business could start again.
And that's the lesson you're taking away?
Yeah, that if we all have to work together, we all have to be prepared to contribute, And we all have to understand that in this time of economic stress, which is bound to follow in the wake of the catastrophe in Japan, that it's not going to be easy, but it's something that if we show the same kind of kokua for each other in the long run that we showed for each other in the wake of the tsunami warning, I think we'll get through it. I'm confident.
Governor, you mentioned this morning that your first impression was that it wasn't as bad as you expected when you that was back at Kailua Pier. Can you expand on that overall now that you've been to Kailua Pier, you've seen some of the hotels, Honolulu Drive? And
I think we can come back quick. But still, nonetheless, it's clear to me there's going to be millions of dollars involved, particularly in repairs and immediate construction of things that, like the piers back on Oahu. I think we may encounter some more difficulty, a little bit more in the way of expenses, but that has to be paid for, and it has to be. We have to take into account that the absence of quick action can result in even more economic damage to us than we might have suffered as it is with the loss of travel and tourism from Asia, particularly from Japan itself. So we're going to have to take that into account. Happily so, in the sense that these are construction activities that can be put underway relatively quickly. Pier repair, walkways, seawalls, that kind of thing. They're comprehensible. We can contract for them quickly. We think we have people ready to do that kind of thing. There wasn't any major structural problems that we've encountered just yet. As I say, we still have to examine Kehi Lagoon piers, and I'm hoping we'll get good news out of that. But if we don't, we'll just have to deal with it. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Governor.